In this video, we're going to have a look at how we can associate products with brands. We've already touched on in a couple of the other videos, doing it manually, just basically going into a product and allocating the brand. We've looked at the AP PIMS mass update facility. So just within a product view, checking products, going into mass update, choosing your brand that you can do within that. But it may be that you're starting off the whole process. You're starting your initial setup where you want to do it en masse, where you're going to be using import files to update the system. Also, we'll talk about integration, directly with other systems. But this is just going to cover sort of the processes for importing using import files to update products. So there are a number of ways. The general way is to go into products. Basically, you're going to be using this import facility here. You're going to say what type of import it is in this instance, because you've already created the products. All you want to do is update the brands. You're going to be updating records rather than creating records or product records, but you're going to be updating product records. You could be using maps, a saved map, because you've done it before and you want to do it multiple times, or you just manually map it and then you're submitting it, and basically your brands will be updated with the data. So what we've got is we've got our brand set up. So this is our brand. You can find brands under the admin, whatever. We've already brought the system in, but in this instance I've made it a little bit more difficult because I've set hierarchies up here. So I just want to show you how effectively we're looking at allocating products to this level. So within brands, you can set up some form of tree if you so wish. So in this instance, I've got food, Nestle, Kit Kats, Lion Bars, and milk bars. So we want to associate the products with one of these three. So this is just showing you how they're set up. And equally, we're going to be using this external reference one field that holds a unique identifier. But we can either be using the brand ID, which is unique, or if you've set it up in this way, to use this reference as that. So what I've done is I've created two files. One is I'm going to import this file here, which is the product import file, and I'm going to be mapping the SKU that I've got set up. I could be using the product ID if I know it, but in this instance I'm just going to be using the SKU, and I want to reference this file there. In the other option that I've got, I'm going to be using the SKU again, but in this instance I've already exported the product sets, and I'm just going to be using the brand range ID as the integration. So if we go, I need to close these files so that I can use them. So if we just go to basically our imports, so what we're looking to do is just to fill in these using an import file. So we're going to our imports, we're selecting our file. So in the first instance, I'm going to sort of do the label one. I want to update the existing records because obviously we've already created the products. So in this instance, I'm going to use the SKU in my file as the unique field to update from the file. So next, it's going to come up and it's asking me to map things. So very important, it's already recognized if you've got the labels in the file as the same as the labels in AP, it will recognize them. So we're just going down this list here to make sure that we've got all of the things mapped. So in this instance, I'm going to be mapping this, very important to, it's a unique field. I'm going to be using the external reference field, as I said before. also important is just take out any fields that have got field default set, and just to not mapped, because you could be overwriting some data as part of this process. So I'm just going to be changing those accordingly. There we do. So I've gone through my file, and basically I've taken out all the default mappings and changed them to not mapped. I've got my brand range in the file mapped to this external reference 1, and I'm using the skew as the ID, so that will be automatically mapped here. So here you can see it's the skew that's mapped the skew in as the product code. So we're using that. I'm going to just run this as a normal element. There's no pick list associated with this, but equally I could just save the map here. So I'm going to do this for future reference, because I might want to run this a number of times. So we'll just give it a name, brand import example using ref1. Right, so we just use that as so we don't have to go through this all the time. It's been saved, and now all we need to do is submit it, and I should get an email. It's already run. You can see it's updated 12 records. If I go back to our product set, you can see that the brands have been set. So in the next video, I'm just going to do exactly the same. I'm going to take all of these out so you can see, and then I'm going to use the ID just as an example of how we do it using a slightly different mapping.